Hey guys, happy Monday to you. I'm back in Missouri. It was a wonderful vacation, but it sure feels good to be home and be in my comfortable house again. Hey, today I want to talk to all those mamas out there. I might not see you with my eyes, but I feel for you in my heart. Those mamas that are saying goodbye to their college age student, maybe for the first time ever. Or maybe this is like me, the third time you get to say goodbye to those that you love so much. So all you mamas out there who are saying goodbye, I feel for you. This morning I said goodbye to two of my kids. They went in opposite directions. They left really one after the other, and they're many, many miles apart, like 6 or 7, 8 hours away from us in two different directions. So hard to say goodbye to your kid, no matter what age they are. So what I wanted to get on here today is just sort of give you my take on things. You can take it with a grain of salt, but I want to give you permission to grieve. I've been grieving all morning. My husband just got off the phone with me about 30 minutes ago, and he said, I just want to know how you're doing today. Because he watched me say goodbye to my kiddos this morning, and I'll tell you, it does get easier after 3 years, but it's also still painful. So I'm giving you permission to grieve, and I just want you to know that you don't have to minimize your loss, because it is a loss. But it's also a gain, and that's what the video is a little bit about in a way. So you can think about saying goodbye to your kids going off to college as a beginning or an end. You know, sometimes we want to look at it as the glass half empty. Oh my gosh, how could this be? It seems like yesterday they were 2 and now they're 18 or whatever. I've been saying that the last month. I can't believe they're 21. It seems like yesterday they were in onesies. So sometimes we can look at it, and it's true. It does seem like yesterday that they were 2 and now they're 21. But we can also tend to really look at it as the sky is falling, and the bad part. But if we turn it around and we look at it, is this a beginning or is this an end? It can be both. It can be the end of you. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I don't want you to start crying anymore, but this could be the beginning of you not having to make 1 extra meal or 2 extra meals. This could be the beginning of you not having another bedroom to go upstairs and make sure that it's clean or whatever, or flushing the toilet, whatever you have to do. If you look at it like that is the beginning of something great instead of the end. Really, we're sort of in an experimentation mode right now when we watch our kids go off to college, because we're experimenting in independence just like they are. We're experimenting in this independence of getting to know our husband again. Or if we have more than 1 or 2 kids, getting to know maybe that other child that it was hard to give attention to. So we're experimenting in independence just like they are. Like they're experimenting with how to make friends, how to get along with a dorm mate that maybe they don't know, how to navigate the campus, how to read a map and get from this building to this building. They're experimenting with this independence, and we are too. So even though you might feel blindsided, let yourself grieve and don't minimize your loss, but look at it as a beginning and not so much as an end. You can mourn, but you also have to rejoice. So you and I have practiced for this moment, and we've practiced, we've let them get off their training wheels. We've let them quit holding our hands as we cross the street or they cross the street. We've let them begin to make friends, growing up. We've let them take the car out for the very first time that they got to drive. We've let them make choices, and this is one more way to let them become independent. So personally, my husband and I, now every family is different, but as the years of college have been going by, we are really cutting the strings more and more, because we know that we'd be doing them a huge disservice if we just held on too tight. So this year, I will say that our sons were a little bit in shock mode when they discovered that we're not paying for extracurricular activities anymore. Yep, that's right. We had to say, sorry, that's right. You know, we're paying for anything that's associated with college, meaning your education and your books and things like that. But everything else is up to you now. Because if we didn't do that, they'd be that kid that moves back into the house when they're 30. Who knows? But anyway, I wanted to talk to you about why I call this video Great Expectations. An expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or will be the case in the future. So let's talk about those great expectations. When my sons were getting ready to leave this morning, I pulled them both out on the deck and I said, listen, I want you to know that we do have expectations of you. And those expectations are the ones that you've heard for years. And those are expectations that we have of our kids. You know, you will keep your GPA a certain whatever. You will bring home this grade, or you will do this. Expectations of what we expect. But there's also other expectations. I told my sons this morning, I said, listen, put those expectations that you've heard us say for years. Keep them in the back of your mind, but I want you to put them to the side now. And I want you to know that you can count on great things, great expectations. You can have great expectations for things that are going to happen and have been happening, but don't ever forget these great expectations that you can take to the bank. Those are beliefs that something will happen in the future. Now, I have to give a little asterisk here and say that I'm going to share my faith in just a few seconds. So I'm not going to apologize for sharing my faith one bit, but if there's an offense that you get by me doing this, no offense was meant for what I'm going to say next. So these great expectations that I was telling my kids this morning, and they've heard this, they've heard me talk like this for years and years, so it didn't come as a surprise. Now maybe your kiddo, for all you moms that are saying goodbye to your son or daughter, or will be, if they've never heard you say things like this in the past, start saying them now, because I promise you, they will listen. They might not say anything, but they will listen. So I sat my kids down and I said, listen, I want you to think of these great expectations that you can count on. I want you to be following your heart. Like these are the years when kids are picking, you know, they know what route they're taking. They know what they're going to graduate with. And these are the years that are really formative because they're taking the classes that are going to be what they're going to be doing in the future. And how that is so heavy for a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid to know that, oh my gosh, what I do beyond this point is really what I'm going to probably be doing the rest of my life, or a good chunk of it. So I said, I want you to remember the expectations that you can count on. You have to follow your heart. You have to pray about it and follow your heart, and you can count on these things. So I proceeded to tell them, and here's where my faith comes in. You boys know Jeremiah 29:11 promises you that he has plans for you, and they're plans for good, and to give you a hope and to give you a future. And I said, and you know what Matthew 11 says, that you can come to him when you are weary and he will give you rest. Those are expectations that you know will happen. Because mamas, your kids are going to get really, really, really weary in college. I said to them, in Isaiah 40, he promises to give power to the weak. And you can expect those great things. So don't think about what mom and dad are expecting of you. You think about what you know you can expect. Philippians 4:19 says, and our God will supply all our needs. He's got what you need. And Romans 8 says, overwhelming victory is yours. They need to know that. And then Proverbs 1:33 says, all who listen will live in peace. And then one of my favorite, and these go on and on and on, and they are full in his word, but expectations that we can count on. But Habakkuk 3:19 says, the Lord God is my strength, and he makes my feet like the feet of a deer, able that I can tread upon my high places. It's one of my favorite because my kids are hunters, and I knew that they would love that one. So if you start telling your kids what they can expect, great expectations, you can expect them too, by the way. You will feel better about this saying goodbye when you know that you have given them promises and great expectations for them to count on. Now, people who know me, I've shared this one with them before. This has been such a anchor for me, a lifesaver, if you will. As I know that my kids are off at college, I copy maps of their campuses. I've said this before, so if you've seen this, I still love to tell people about it, and it's really, really helped me. So I have a map of one of my kids in Texas and a map of one of my kids in Alabama. And I actually had them circle where now they live in apartments. Where is your apartment? Where are you spending most of your days on campus? Where's your fraternity house? So I could put it in perspective. First of all, you try reading a map and you can't even figure out where anything is. But then what I do is every morning I have this out and I trace where they may be walking that day. Now I know that's just symbolic of me not being there, them being there. It connects me. But they know that their mom is following, not to keep my eye on them, but they know, I could cry right now, they know that I am, they might be 8 hours away. But they know that I am, I'm connected to them. So that's it. So try that. And my kid here at home, I got a map of his local college too. So know that you have permission to grieve. Don't minimize your loss, but embrace this beginning. It's not an end, it's a beginning. It may feel like an end. It might feel like an end. It just seemed like yesterday that they were in onesies, or they were wearing their light up tennis shoes, or they were in t-ball, or they were in their booster chairs, or they still went to bed at 8 o'clock or 8:30. It might feel like that just happened and it's an end to that. It is, but it's a beginning of great things. This is an experiment in your independence as much as theirs. So I didn't think I'd get on here and talk about sending kids away to college again, because I think I've done this for 3 years now. But I understand where you're coming from, and I'm sure when my kids get married and everything, there'll be like a little grieving, but it's okay. It's a beginning. It's not an end. It's actually kind of both, but there's great expectations for you and I to look forward to. So that's my video. If you know any mama who is sending their kiddo off to college and they're on a roller coaster of emotions, I get it. I started being on a roller coaster of emotions their senior year in high school, and I have a senior this year, so I'm going to be doing it again, just watching him. It's okay. It's okay. You've got permission. We understand. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a great afternoon. Bye, guys.